Hello everyone, welcome to Botany optional channel for UPSC examination. In today's video, we are going to see a very important topic called the eutrophication. As you know, this eutrophication is creating the huge problems in the aquatic ecosystems. So this eutrophication topic comes in your syllabus of ecology and we will cover this topic in very detail in this particular video. Before starting the video, I request you to join the Telegram channel of the same name, that is the Botany optional for UPSC examination on the Telegram platform. There we regularly upload the PDFs of these videos plus the links of videos so that you will not miss any update relating with the botany. Alright, so let's learn about the eutrophication. Now first of all, we are going to see what is meant by the eutrophication. As you can see on the slide, there are three pictures and all these three pictures showing how the eutrophication occurs in the nature. As you know, when we have the neat and clean ocean or river system, these ocean or river systems supports the very good aquatic ecosystems and all the aquatic life forms can flourish in these particular ecosystems. But what is happening in these days? The waste, particularly from the agriculture, that is the agricultural waste is coming from the agriculture in the form of liquid, and this agricultural waste is directly mixing with the rivers. And now all the agricultural waste is present in these rivers. These agricultural waste contain in a more amount like compounds like phosphates, like nitrates. All these chemical compounds are present in these agricultural waste. And you may have know that these are chemical compounds which are responsible for the growth of plant species. Now, from the river point of view or from the ocean point of view, the main plant species in the river ecosystem are the algae, right? So in a first step, what happens? All the agricultural waste in the form of liquid is coming from agriculture and directly poured into the river. Once these agricultural waste come into the river, all the phosphate and the nitrate which is present in that agricultural waste get mixed into the river ecosystem. And due to the mixing of all these chemical compound in an river, this river becomes nutrient rich water, right? Because these water now contain the high amount of phosphates and nitrates which enhance the growth of plants, and that is why these water now became the nutrient rich water. Now the algae already have their presence in such a water. They start to flourish very quickly due to the ready-made nutrients they are getting from the agricultural waste. Now what happens due to this? This algae starts to grow so rapidly that it cover all the surface area of the river, and then these rivers look like this. Now see in the third picture, there is a whole algae on the surface of the river. This happens because these algae get so much nutrients from the agricultural waste that their number is increased significantly, and due to their high number, they have covered up all the surface area of the river. So eutrophication is nothing but the nutrient enrichment of the water bodies, and its side effect is that the algae are flourish very rapidly. All right, so literally the eutrophication means the enrichment of the water bodies. All right, so you can see here how the agricultural waste converts the good aquatic ecosystem into the eutrophied ecosystem, right? Now once the algae covers the whole surface area of these river bodies, these largely developed algal areas are called as the algal blooms. So this is very typical term which is used for the rapidly growing algae on the surface of water, that is the algal blooms. The result of the eutrophication is the algal bloom, because eutrophication is nothing but the nutrient enrichment of the water bodies, and due to the enrichment of water, the algae flourish on the surface of water and cover the whole surface area, and this algae which covers all the surface area on the water bodies are called as the algal blooms. All right, so let us consider what is the effect of these algal blooms. Now it is actually a very harmful thing for the ecosystem. This is because, as we have seen here, this is an algal bloom which covers nearly all the surface area of the river. Now what happens due to this? Due to the large quantity of algae, which are the phytoplanktons in the aquatic life, these algae provide more food to the animals like fishes, right? Due to the huge quantity of food, the fishes starts to grow very rapidly, and their population grows rapidly, and this results in the population explosion. You can see in this second picture, you can see the large number of fishes are growing under the algal blooms. Now, on the one hand, we have all the surface area covered with the algae, and on the other hand, below these algal blooms, we find the large aquatic life which is flourishing on these algal blooms. Now, what happens in such a condition? In the first few stages, the population explosion takes place, but after that, what happens? Due to these algal blooms, the sunlight cannot penetrate below these algal blooms. Now, what happens due to this? When sunlight does not penetrate into the deep ocean or deep river, the other nutrient goes into the imbalance. And what happens due to this? The large number of aquatic life starts to die. That is, the algal flourishments in the aquatic ecosystem makes the nutrient imbalance in the other form, and this makes the aquatic life to die. So due to the absence of sunlight, many of the organisms belonging to the aquatic life dies instantly. Now, what happens after that? Due to the population explosion, there is a oxygen deficiency in these waters. What is adding more pressure is that when these algal blooms become dead, the microorganism starts to grow on them. These microorganisms again consumes the oxygen. Both these factors creates the condition of anoxia. Now, anoxia is nothing but the oxygen deficient environment. Due to this oxygen deficient environment, all the aquatic animals which are dependent on the oxygen for their respiration starts to die. And due to this, the large number of the aquatic life died instantly. So in the eutrophication, what is happening? First, due to the agricultural waste which is coming into the water, the algal blooms takes place, and these algal blooms later make the population explosion in the animal life of the aquatic ecosystem, and this results in the more pressure on the oxygen, and that is why the oxygen deficient environment, that is the anoxia environment, is created. And due to this, the many life forms which are present in these water bodies starts to die. Now let's consider the types of the eutrophication. There are two types of eutrophication. First is the natural eutrophication and second is the man-made eutrophication. Now the natural eutrophication also occurs in the nature by the conditions such as the flooding or say landslide. Due to this as well, all the nutrient material goes into the water bodies and water becomes nutrient rich. But in order to happen this, there are hundreds of years are required. And generally, it happens so slowly that we cannot observe in the nature. But the man-made eutrophication, that is which we have seen in the last slide, is so rapid that it occurs nearly in a decade. So the man-made eutrophication has the rapid rate, and due to this, the many aquatic ecosystems has been destroyed. So you can say that the man-made eutrophication is a fast process due to which there is a huge impact on the aquatic ecosystems. Now let's consider the effects of these eutrophication. Now the very first effect is that change in the ecosystem. We have discussed this in the last slide. As you know, the pure aquatic ecosystem is then converted into the algal blooms due to the eutrophication, right? Due to the pouring of the agricultural waste into the aquatic ecosystem, it converts into the algal bloom, and later the whole aquatic life becomes dead due to these algal blooms. So the eutrophication has made the great changes in an ecosystem. Secondly, it decreases the biodiversity. That is, whatever the biodiversity which is present in the water before the eutrophication, all this biodiversity destroyed after the eutrophication. That is, all the biodiversity related flora, whether it's a plant, animal, or any kind of the aquatic life, all get destroyed due to the eutrophication. So eutrophication directly involved in the decreased biodiversity. The next effect of the eutrophication is that the new species invasion. As you know, before the eutrophication, there are the different conditions in the aquatic ecosystem, but after the eutrophication, the condition changes, and at the same time, the environmental parameters also got changed. Now, in these new environmental parameters, the old species cannot survive, and all the old species are died instantly after the eutrophication. But what happens in these new conditions, which are oxygen deficient conditions? In these oxygen deficient conditions, the different type of organisms, say the anaerobic organisms, can grow. So the new species which can tolerate the oxygen deficient water try to invade these ecosystems. So new species invasion takes place due to the eutrophication. All right. So all this about the eutrophication. Thank you for watching this. See you in the next one.